Africa Global Radio. Our story, our growth, our future.
Headlines across Africa.
Welcome to Africa Global Radio. I'm Itumeleng Lebogang, bringing you headlines across Africa for Tuesday, 20th of February. In today's bulletin, the war in Sudan was not priority for political leaders who gathered at the 37th African Union Summit. The top 5 African countries with the biggest defense budgets are in North and West Africa. And UNESCO's Global Network of Learning Cities adds 13 members from Africa's urban centers. Just 3 days before the 37th AU Summit, a young teacher, her husband and children arrived in an overcrowded camp in Renk, South Sudan, amongst thousands of other Sudanese fleeing the civil war. With the situation in Sudan pushing hundreds daily, even thousands of civilians out of the country at a time, it is concerning to note that leaders from across the continent gathered for the 37th African Union Summit over the weekend in Addis Ababa without a single agenda item on the conflict in Sudan. Meanwhile, civilians are confronted with merciless checkpoints manned by either RSF or the Sudanese army, who have been reported to prevent civilians from leaving the country. One Sudanese citizen has reported that the soldiers took all their phones at one checkpoint and a lot of their money at another. Media houses and stakeholders across the continent are now hoping President of Mauritania, Mohamed Ould Ghazouani, who was selected as the next chairperson of the AU for 2024, will take this crisis seriously. GlobalFirepower.com has released a list of defense spending budgets across 145 countries in the world. In Africa, Algeria has the highest defense budget rankings for 2024, holding the 22nd position globally with an estimated $21.6 billion. This was followed by Morocco at $12 billion and Egypt at $9.4 billion. Morocco and Egypt hold the 29th and 35th positions respectively, followed by Nigeria, which occupies the 56th position in the world and 4th in Africa, with a budget of $4 billion. Fifth from the continent is Libya at $3.4 billion. And finally, Southern Africa features with South Africa's military budget standing at $2.7 billion. The United States, China, Russia, and India, unsurprisingly, have the largest militaries in the world. A connection between educational, training and cultural institutions, as well as the engagement of a wide range of partners such as representatives of the public sector, civil society organizations and employers, constitute the key characteristics of learning cities of UNESCO. The global network brings together cities that stand out for promoting lifelong learning among their inhabitants. A genuine commitment to learning by the mayor and city administration, as well as a set of good practices and public policy initiatives, are essential prerequisites for becoming a learning city. In total, 64 cities from 35 countries have joined this network. The 13 new African cities from 7 countries are Egypt's cities of Alexandria, Sharkia, and Zefta, along with Morocco's Agadir, Essaouira, and Fez, Cameroon's Bikok, Marou, and Yaoundé. The remaining cities are from Cape Verde, Ivory Coast, Senegal, and Zimbabwe, which are home for the cities of Sao Felipe, Gagnoa, Dakar, and Chinoyi, respectively. With these new admissions, the network now includes 356 cities from around the world, which share their know-how and pave the way for lifelong learning opportunities for 390 million citizens. And with that, we've come to the end of Headlines Across Africa with me, Itumeleng Lebogang. Join us again tomorrow for our midweek bulletin right here on Africa Global Radio.
For this and more, check us out on afglobalradio.com. On Facebook and YouTube, Africa Global Radio. On Twitter and Instagram, AF Global Radio.